Hello everybody, welcome to my Peterson Academy Education. I'm Jazz, and I just finished the second lecture of Intro to Nietzsche. I think it was really cool. It's an hour and a half long, so it's a Saturday today, so I took the whole day to do it. Probably been doing it since like, say 10 o'clock or something. So I'm gonna bust through the whole thing. I got all my notes. I think it's like 10 pages of notes. I'm a meticulous note taker because I want to be able to like get all the knowledge in my brain. If I put it on paper, I figure writing it will get it in my brain better. But I make a lot of notes. So I'm gonna start. Today by talking about trying to see if anyone else is out there making videos about Peterson Academy. I've searched YouTube. I've only found one other guy. I've watched him before. He's a Peterson Academy student. Really good dude. Makes a lot of really cool videos. You know, they got me into doing it, so I said, yeah, I'll try it. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna start with kind of I made a note, like notes for the video I'm gonna do. So the first thing they talked about was the contrast of truth and perspective, which is really cool. It's like they have the imperialistic view of things, which is like information is just a set of data. But when you look at it like that, it's like an infinite set of data, you know. Excuse me. And then you have the rationalist way of things, which is screening information within an interpretive like structure. So you get your information, you kind of screen it so that you don't take it all in. You just take in what's important. Like they talk about the objective truth, you know, like looking at the world as a form of as experiences, you know, like they talk about, Peterson talks about a chair and a stump. You can both sit on them, so they have the same function, but they don't really have the same, like, everything else about them is totally different. And then Nietzsche talks about or his ideas really reflect this kind of thing I wrote. It's like, how do you know your perspective is aligned with the truth? Is there a truth that supersedes objective truth? So I guess what I took from it is like there's like the truth of reality, which is a bunch of stuff, and then there's relativistic truth, which is like kind of like the truth of like what's it called? What you're like how you see the world, you know, and your truths in that. Like different religions have different objective truths, and people live by that, you know. And then we go on to the path to nihilism. So what nihilists say is if there is more than one truth, what makes any of them true? And is there such a thing as right? And then as Peterson talks about the nihilism's search for certainty usually leads to totalitarianism, as they look for something that's really certain. So, you know, you follow a guy who says like, oh, I know what's going on in the world and I know how to fix it. So it's like, oh, I don't have to believe anything myself. I can just go and do what this guy says. And then that usually leads to like excuse me. That usually leads to like murder upon murders and millions of people dying and stuff like that. And then we get on to the Nietzsche's affirmation of life as an antidote to nihilism. So he talks about how he lives through like. I'll turn this off. I always get distracted when I'm watching these things at the same time. So he always talks about how affirmation of life, like living your best life, I guess is a good way to say it. But living in a way where you can expend yourself fully and to the fullest of your ability while you're alive, and people get truth in that. And I know I kind of feel that way too. Like with my work and stuff, like it's hard work. It's really hard laboring work, but like there's things I like about it, and I get really good at those things. And Peterson says, life affirming courage necessary to step into the unknown. What morals can you derive from your experiences? So like no matter how hard your life is, I guess you can always derive good things from your experiences and learn from what you're doing. And you can do it in the good way where you learn how to be a better person, or you could do it in like a way where you're full of resentment and you hate everybody and you're like, why is this happening to me? Like why is my life hard and everyone else's life is easy and stuff like that. And then after that they go into Apollonian versus Dianism. So it's like Apollonian is like the rational mind, like takes in facts and lives your life based on like the best way to do, I guess, what I got from it. And then Dianism, which is like the romanticism of life, like you want to do cool things all the time and do things that always make you happy. And I really think like it's a really cool way to look at it, I guess. I know in my life there's a lot of things that, like, for me, I find with the things that I do, I find that there's, like, I'll be doing hard work and stuff, and like things that are like difficult to do, difficult to have fun doing, but I find little things that like perk me up about it. Like when I'm welding, like making sure my technique is good, and like seeing the welds come out like perfectly. Every time I do that, I'm like, yeah, I did it. I did a good weld, man. That's awesome. And then I get better and better and better, and then I start paying attention to like how my movements are. And then but yeah, that's my take on that. And Nietzsche talks about that too. He says a multitude of wills that are grounded in biology, or that's something else. So the with the Apollonian and Dionysian thing, Jordan Peterson says there's like, it's important to take your Dionysian impulses and integrate them into higher order structure that is coherent, but that retains your Dionysian motivations. Can't even read my own writing. Damn. Okay, so what I take about that is like you can like Jordan Peterson talks about, like, you can be like a really angry person and like just let that anger like just push it out onto people and stuff like that, or you can like put that into a better structure in your life so you can use that as like an energy for something. Like what I do in work is like I deal with a lot of gristly people, I guess, so it's like I could sit around and yell at everybody like everyone else does, or I could really like sit and listen to those people and kind of pay attention to what they're doing, and then later when I have an opportunity to talk to them about it, I have I guess like ammo it was the best way to do it, to like come at them and be like, look, this is the problem, and like earlier you did this and earlier you did that, and this is the pattern, so you need to stop that. Like we need to get to work properly, stuff like that. I'm gonna have a lot of stories about, not stories, but like kind of stuff like that, like things that I use all these lessons for in my job. So it's a lot of that. And then Nietzsche says he talks about the will of people, and about like there's like, you think you're in control of your life, but there's a lot of other things in control of your life that are inside your head. He says a multitude of wills that are grounded in biology that grip at your rationale without your knowing. So like there's biological parts of your brain that control your will in some way, and you may feel like you're just one person in this meat body thing doing stuff, but there's like a bunch of other wills trying to do their own thing with your body. I guess it's kind of like that. And then it goes into a couple things about his Nietzsche's family. So his father was a pastor, and he died at 36. He died pretty early of like a brain disease, which is actually pretty similar to Nietzsche himself. He went like insane and died of syphilis and all that stuff, among other things. And then his sister, who took care of him for 10 years when he got taken down by various illnesses. Excuse me. Taken down by his various illnesses, and she married a anti-Semite, like a really prominent anti-Semite, I guess. I didn't catch the name of the guy, so we'll just keep that in mind. He's an anti-Semite. Sorry, dudes. And Nazis try to say that Nietzsche was an anti-Semite as well. Like they misread the books and stuff that he had, and he wasn't actually anti-Semite at all. He actually hated anti-Semitism. He had a publisher in 1886 actually who he left, who he distanced himself from, as Ernst Schneiser, if I'm saying that right. Probably not. Probably not. And he left it because he was anti-Semite. He was an anti-Semite. And yeah, and then he has a saying, a quote here from Nietzsche: "Anti-Semitism should be utterly rejected with cold contempt by every sensible mind." I agree with that. I don't know why I gotta hate people for it. I don't know how that makes your life better. Yeah. Oh, and Nietzsche fell in love with someone, Salome. Salome? Yeah, that's an M. Salome. So she was married to some other guy that he also met at some point. I'll probably get to that later. And he proposed to her 3 times, and he was rejected all 3 times. But I mean, like, what do you expect? What do you expect, Nietzsche? I mean, I don't know. Who knows what he was like, actually. And then I have a couple notable, excuse me, that was horrible. A couple notable things about him here. In 1858, he learned Greek, Latin, and Hebrew at Selforta, because that's a school. And then in 1878, he resigned from University of Basel. That's the place that gave him the honorary doctorate. And if I'm remembering correctly, it was because it was his take on Christianity. There might be something else though. And then in 1889, he broke down. He had his major breakdown. So basically, he saw this horse being flogged, like someone was beating it with a stick. Like, wow, I'm beating with a stick, horse. Whatever sound horses make. That's the sound, right? And yeah, he ran up to the horse and he wrapped his arms around the horse. It was like, get away from this horse! Get away from this horse! I love this horse. He probably didn't love it, but just had a moral thing. I don't know. Maybe he loved it. I like horses. I don't love them, but anyway. And yeah, and then he just passed out, exhausted all his mental resources or something. And then in 1889, yeah, he had another mental break, insanity happened to him. He had syphilis among a bunch of other stuff, as you know, or as some people know, I guess. Syphilis is like a sexually transmitted like brain thing that it eats your brain, man. Don't bang, it eats your brain. And yeah, he actually wrote a couple of things. Then they called it the delusional notes, and it was stuff about like, I think it was the Roman Empire or something. I can't remember. It was he told some Roman dude to go to some other place and get killed. It sucks. And he said that he abolished anti-Semitism. I mean, I guess whatever you need to cope. I read it as like a coping thing, like he was coping with his life or something in the last days of it. Yeah. Oh, and I have books. There's some books that I want to look at. So these are all the books that were mentioned. Almost, I hope all of them. I tried to scour my notes through all the names of them. So the first one is from 1872 to 1876. Let me get this my notes up to near the camera so it looks like I'm looking at you guys. Hey. Okay, so in 1872 to 1876, he wrote Untimely Meditations. It's a collection of 4 essays, and I'm going to check those out. I don't know, that's all I know about him. So, and then he also wrote another book in those same years, Birth of Tragedy. That was pretty cool. And then in 1878, he wrote Human All Too Human, which is a lot like Beyond Good and Evil. It's a book of aphorisms. So like a lot of forceful observations with general truth, those short things. And then in 1882, he wrote The Gay Science. And then he also wrote Thus Spoke Zarathustra, which he self-published 40 copies of and just gave it to his friends. Which is kind of like, I guess the only really thing you can do if you don't have like a publisher or something and you're like sick and dying. It's like, how far can I get these books? I'm sick and dying, man. Like I can't really go out, so I'll just give some books to my friends. He's a nice guy. And then Zarathustra is about the death of God and eternal reoccurrence, done in a new style of Nietzsche. So it's like an Old Testament Bible-y kind of thing. I want to check that out. Soon. And then in 1886, Beyond Good and Evil. I read that one already on Audible. Audible's really good because I can't sit and read stuff. I can write notes like copiously. I have like probably like thousands of pages. Probably like 1,000 pages of notes for various things. If I were to like sum them up, anyway. And then in 1888, The Twilight of the Idols, The Antichrist, and Echo Homo. I'll check those out, although I'm more interested in The Gay Science and Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And then in 1889, he had his delusional writings, which is like very interesting. I wonder if I can find those anywhere. And then I have a couple things here. Peterson talks about a bunch of Dostoevsky's stuff, and I kind of summarized it. I really like how they sounded, so I'm just gonna sit and like read what I wrote here. So Dostoevsky's Brothers of Kamasov. It sounds like a really cool book. Ivan is a very charismatic atheist, while his brother Alyosha is a devout and monastic Nava. Not really. Well, he's from a monastery. Can't read my notes. I'm sorry. Ivan wins all the arguments with Alyosha, who is a very naive character, but it is clear in the narrative that Alyosha is the better man, which is really interesting. I don't know why. I don't know why I like get that. Like when like reading it, like the way Jordan Peterson explains it, like I like get it, but I can't really describe what that means. So sorry. I guess that's why I'm not on Peterson Academy, like as a professor, because I don't know. And then he puts out devastating arguments that Dostoevsky battled with in his own mind. While Alyosha is clearly the better man, this theme is a complicated, irrational theme that is played out in the narrative, which is the advantage narrators have over philosophy. So yeah, they're talking about Dostoevsky was more of like a narrative writer, so you can get deep into things without having to explain them, like in like a lot of complicated words. You just kind of, it's like any narrative, you just kind of feel what's going on really if it's written well. And then Nietzsche was more philosophical, so he like had to explain everything and put everything like down that he could. And then over here, Nietzsche could not work out the philosophy of someone axiomatically good like Alyosha. Axiomatically good. That's what I meant to say. So like he could like contemplate about like, this is what my take on it, I guess. He could contemplate on like what this person was like and what this person had to do, but he couldn't really figure out like the axiomatic role or the axiomatic like truth that this guy was following, I guess, if I'm saying that right. And then with Dostoevsky, he had another book that was kind of similar to this called The Idiot. So the main character of the book is Prince Mishkin. He embodies Christ. He doesn't act like a power-hungry aristocrat. He's regarded as the holy fool. The book again shows through the narrative that he is the better man. So all the people in the book, I guess, they look at this guy like, man, why is this guy like being like this? He's rich. Can he do like rich people stuff? I don't know. I never read the book, so this is just me making stuff up. Alright, so yeah, that was really good. And then Crime and Punishment. This one sounds really cool. The main character, Raskolnikov, thinks in a way reminiscent of the kind of thoughts Nietzsche's new man would arise with the what did I say here? I can't read. I can't read. Anyway. Yeah. So a reminiscent of the kind of thoughts Nietzsche knew would arise with the death of God, and Raskolnikov makes himself as the new man that can create his own values without reference to Nietzsche. So they're saying that Nietzsche might have known about Dostoevsky. I don't know if Dostoevsky was before him or whatever, but Dostoevsky didn't really came up with a lot of things that Nietzsche was talking about without even knowing about Nietzsche, which is really interesting. But anyway, later in the Crime and Punishment story, Dostoevsky gives Raskolnikov every reason to commit murder. So there's like a landlady or something. He lives in this like shitty shack, and this landlady is like rent, like paying, like he needs to pay him a lot of money, and there's a lot of like he feels like oppressed by her. And so Raskolnikov tortures himself for being too cowardice to commit the act, which he, in the book, he sees murder as like, this is the only thing I could do to like save the people around here, my family and everybody. Then he ends up torturing himself, like morally, like he's like, I can't do this thing that I know I should do. It's really interesting. And after that, yeah, those are all the Dostoevsky books that they talk about. I'm gonna check those out. Again, sorry if I'm like not as coherent. I usually am on the other ones. I've been like inserting things into my brain all day about Nietzsche and everything, so I'm a bit scrambled. And yeah, so let's see what's going on here now. Oh, and the parallels of Nietzsche and Dostoevsky they talk about. So like they think a lot of the same stuff, but the only difference is that Dostoevsky is more narrative. I think he tells things in stories, I guess, and then Nietzsche is philosophical. Which is really cool. Like contrast, I guess, because I feel like it's more of like a reading their stuff together might give you a whole picture of what they're trying to say, I guess. So yeah, that's my take on the second lecture of Nietzsche. It's really cool. I can't wait to do the other one. Took a long time to do my notes. A lot of notes. I got 10 pages of notes. And like I tried to summarize everything. I tried not to like my instinct was to like just write everything down word for word, but I knew that I probably wouldn't learn much from it. But yeah, I can't wait for the next video, and if you guys wanna, if anyone out there who does videos like this wants to come and like, you know, if they need like inspiration, I guess. Look at this guy, he does a lot of good work. I mean, I don't know about looking at me, that's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I don't want that. But, you know, I mean, I get whatever I can do, because I think really what this page is for, like, just getting people interested in documenting stuff like I am, and like this guy's really good. He's got more subscribers than me. But I have 2 less videos than him. He's got 24 videos and that many subscribers. I got this many. I got 8 subscribers. Ooh, hello, I had 7. I had 7 before I started this. Now I have 8. For 22 videos. Like this, you know. I got all my shorts. I made 1 short for every trailer there. I did that so people could see it. And then I realized that they're all, like, if I'm not signed in, they're all on the front page anyway. So, I mean, maybe someone wouldn't check out the page. I had a comment where they were like, it's like, oh, I want to see the this one. And I was like, oh, I'll make a video. Meanwhile, I could have just sent them over here, I guess. But is that less fun? You know, better to connect, I guess. Oh, these people start following me. Let's see. Let's go into social. Let's do some social stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's just not do social stuff. I think we'll just leave that for another video. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you watched the whole way. If you didn't, no problem. Thanks for watching for the minutes that you did. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.